All right, what's up, everybody? Hope everyone's doing great. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I am kind of tired. This cat is crazy, bro. He's got so much energy. It's like, where does he get all the energy, man? Like, how do I get all this energy? But I still wanted to stream tonight. What's up, everybody? Look at my eyes, man. You can tell I'm tired. Also did legs today at the gym somehow. I did hear that there are a couple of new cards. So let me go see what the new cards are before we do anything else. All right. All right, let's see what this is. Let's talk about the, oh. Dude, hit the tweet, man. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got today, chat. Pyrotechnician, 4-mana 2/5, neutral. After you cast a spell, add a random fire spell to your hand. Pretty flavorful card, probably not playable. Because it's a random fire spell. If it's a like random fire spell of your class, maybe that's better. But it's probably not playable. Cool, like flavorful, like I expect this expansion to be extremely flavorful, but it's not very good. Probably gonna get absolutely nutty and wild. I don't think so. Damn, girls keeping Rarran up all night. No, this isn't playable. This is so weak. Like 4 mana, Lyra is good because you got any pre-spell. This is any fire spell. There's potential to have a lot of bad fire spells. This is after rotation, which means that the number of spells that are in the game are lower in terms of what you can get from fire, but there's no way this is good. This is not good. I wouldn't play this card at all. It's too weak. It's too weak. Oh, I gotta turn the, yeah, good call. It's too weak. Unfortunate. Worgen Roadie, 3-mana 3/3 neutral, rare. I expect a lot of these individual cards, by the way, because I think they're doing all neutrals first. So, Battlecry, summon a 0/3 instrument case for your opponent. Break it for a random weapon. Again, probably not great, but flavor-wise, it's awesome. It's kind of cool. The Worgen Roadie. I get behind this, sure. Festival Security, 3-mana 2/5. Taunt Finale. Force all enemy minions to attack this. That's really interesting. So Finale is if this spends all your remaining mana. It's like a tar creeper that can be very good. That's the highest upside. Most of the time you're playing this on turn 3 and you're hoping that, I mean, turn 3 is fine because if you do end up playing it, hopefully the minions on the board will like trade into it and then they just die. Also might be good with hand buffing. It's an interesting effect. Okay, hold on. I gotta get this cat out of my wires chat. Give me a second. He's gotta stop. Come here. Come here. He's messing with my PC recently, and it's been very frustrating. Come here. Come here. Okay. Well, we'll leave him alone for the time being. All right. Posek. Moon, come here, buddy. Moon. Come here. I gotta chat. Give me a sec, guys. I gotta get this cat out of here. He's gonna ruin my PC at some point. All right, I gotta go put him in the bedroom. Give me a sec. Otherwise, I'm not gonna be able to do this stream. Come here. Oh, he's wired. Chat. Everyone, say hi to Moon. Hello. All right. Okay, holy moly. That cat, man. Been eating my wires. 4 mana 5/4, Battle Cry. Add 2 3/3 bots to your opponent's hand. Death rattle summon them for yourself. That's a lot of stats. 4 mana to get 2 6/6. Like, so this is actually pretty cool. Just because the fact that it fills your opponent's hand, which is usually great, right? But then if they die, you get the 3/3s. Is it on the Hearthstone's website yet? So they're just 3/3s. What if your opponent plays one? I think that's good for you. Like, let's say you're playing this on turn 4. Okay, you add 2 3/3s to your opponent. If they play one, how much do you really care? They're playing a 3 mana 3/3. And then best case scenario, you're playing a 4 mana 5/4 and then potentially get 6/6 of stats, because your opponent puts cards into their deck that they want to play, which means adding a 3/3 to your opponent's hand is like whatever, because even if they play one, they're using 3 mana for absolutely nothing for a 3/3, which is basically irrelevant, because when is a 3/3 ever going to be enough to actually worry about, right? It's actually pretty good. It's a very spooky effect. Also with like Brand, if Brand's actually, no, Brand's probably not going to be in the core set. Like, worst case scenario, absolute worst case scenario, this is a 4 mana 5/4. Your opponent gets 6/6 of stats that they have to pay 6 mana for. It's pretty good. Best case scenario, it's an absurd amount of stats. Like, it's pretty nutty. I could see this being played quite a bit. In Arena, this card is probably, this is actually one of the few instances where, like, in Arena, it might be worse for you. Because, like, in Arena, like, you don't mind playing a 3/3. It's not great, but it's whatever. But this is extremely interesting. What a cool effect. I'm down here fixing all the gnomish tech that breaks down mid-set. Well, the buffoon Fizzle is up there taking pictures of the sky. You tell me who's the better engineer? Oh my god, he sounds so sad. He sounds so sad. What are the other ones? I asked for an instrument and you gave me a cursed blade. Oh no. Wait. Does that mean Cursed Blade's gonna be in the core set? Incident in the Mossbish. Copy that. Be there in a year. There's a difference between a pyrotechnician and a pyromaniac is a paycheck. The difference. True. True. Does that legendary make this legendary? Doesn't that legendary a win more card? I mean, okay, I think this is a really unique effect. We have never really seen anything like this, right? I can't think of a card that's anything close to this in Hearthstone. So it's going to be interesting to see how great this is. I think in an aggressive deck, this card will be fantastic. Like, I'm pretty sure if you play this in an aggressive effect, you're pretty stoked. Because if you have a board already, and then your opponent has to use an AoE to clear this, you get the 6/6s. If your opponent is using 3 mana to spend, if your opponent's using 3 mana to do a 3/3 or to play a 3/3, this is already good for you. This is like, I feel like this is so good. I could see this being insane. Like, I gotta actually see this being really, really good. 4 mana 5/4 is not a great stat line, but like, you almost want it to die so you can get the 6/6 worth of stats afterwards. Such an interesting card. It's really hard to evaluate, but I think it's insane. I think in an aggressive deck, this card will be really, really good. It's so annoying to deal with. Like, it's so annoying. No matter what you do, you're sad about it. So unless you have a silence, if your opponent ignores it, it's bad. I mean, if your opponent ignores it, then it's a 5/4 that does 5 damage to their face. What do you mean? What are you talking about? They have to deal with it. They can't just leave it. If you're playing an aggressive deck and you play a 5 mana, if you play a 4 mana 5/4 that has the potential for 6/6, like, and they just ignore this, it's bad for them, right? So in an aggro deck, this card might actually be insane. Like this is it's almost like Dr. Boom in a sense, where like Dr. Boom didn't seem very flashy, but like his effect was so good. This is so much tempo. Like it's insane how much tempo this is. Like your opponent is sad when you play this card. Oh God, it's actually kind of annoying I'm annoyed looking at it. Like, what is this? I thought I saw Leo tweet about it. Hold on. My opponent plays the bots. I'm supposed to move them to my side. No, once the bot is summoned, that's it. What if my opponent shuffles the bot into their deck? I was like, well, still summon them for you. That's kind of nutty. Yo, Water, thank you for 10, bro. What is your favorite type of music this expansion? I'm a Warlock man, so I guess I'm a classical guy. Pretty good card, man. It's a very scary effect. I feel like I'm gonna call this right now. This will probably be the Dr. Boom of this expansion. It's my hottest take of the evening. But over all my years of Hearthstone, this effect seems so spooky. Like it seems so frustrating to deal with, and I'm kind of annoyed that they made it. Hopefully I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong on that, but I could see this being absolutely disgusting. I could see it being super, super good. Sad that you're comparing this with Dr. Boom. Why is it sad? Dr. Boom was so underrated when it was released in GvG because people saw the effect and went, that's not flashy enough, or that's not good enough. It was the underdog. It was literally the underdog. Like I can't remember like a single bigger streamer being like, Dr. Boom is so broken. Like I can't remember that time, but then Dr. Boom came out and it was like the best thing. This card is 4 mana for potential of what? How many stats was that? I think you guys are out of your mind. I don't think if you think that card's good, I think you guys are out of your mind. I think it's so freaking turbo nuts. It's actually kind of insane. And I'm putting that, I put that in every aggro deck. I don't really care. I think in every single aggro deck, you're putting that in. It wouldn't even be a question. You're just gonna put it in. It just seems too good. Let me get this. It's just annoying to deal with. Cards like that feel frustrating. Hold on, I'm just getting a... Oh my God, I keep doing the thing, man. What about silence? Dude, think of it like this. All right, think of it like this. If you're spending a silence for that card, you've already done your job. Like, you've already done your job. It's like saying like a card's bad because it dies to Shadow or Death. Like it's still good just because it could die to removal. I think people are gonna hate that card. I get 6. Guys, are you insane? When is the last time? Anyone in chat, when is the last time you played a 3-mana 3/3 no text? Go ahead and tell me. When was the last time? I guarantee none of you play a 3-mana 3/3 do nothing. And I guarantee you that your opponent will either. Like, you guys are like, oh, I got 6/6 of stats, bro. No one's playing the cards. You're doing something. You got, oh my God. Anyways, let's do what I want to do today. No. What's my background? It's one of my, it's the artist who does my thumbnails. She did one for when we did Runeless Demon Hunter, Death Knight, sorry, not Demon Hunter. And yeah. That's what this is. And I liked it so much that I kept it as my background. I thought it was just funny. And I kind of like looking at it every day. I might change it at some point. But it's funny opening up my PC and this is the first thing I see. What's up, Regal? How's it going, dude? Does triggering the death rattle make it double the number of bots if they're not in the other guy's deck? Does triggering the death rattle make it double the number of bots? I don't understand your question, CC. I don't understand. Anyways, so chat. Today we're going to talk about the expansion that I believe changed Hearthstone. So I gotta make sure everything is ready. I just want to say I look tired because I'm not actually sleeping. My cat has been keeping me up all night. He smacks me in the face when he wants attention, so I don't sleep very well. Hopefully today will be different. I'm you can tell, like, I haven't been this tired in a while. Usually I look tired, but I feel tired today. So I'm sorry if I look tired today, chat. It's not about this, but let's do the stream today. Okay, so I actually wrote like a little document to talk about this, right? I actually wrote a little document to talk about this. I was prepared today. I want everyone to be aware. All right, so chat, what do you guys think of the worst expansion in Hearthstone, right? You often think of the expansion that there are, you know, OP legendaries, things that warp the metagame, cards you absolutely despise playing against, cards like that's what makes a bad expansion, right? And I would agree, or sorry, not agree. And I would say that a lot of people would probably think the worst expansion, or one of the worst expansions, was the Witchwood, right? If you don't remember the Witchwood had this card in it. It had this card in it. It had this wonderful human being in it, or not human being, but it had Shuttlewalk in it. And Shuttlewalk was a really frustrating card because it was like the combo destroyer. No other deck could outvalue this thing. It was insane. On top of that, there was this card. Okay. Baku the Moon Eater was a really big effect. Let me hide my camera here. Baku the Moon Eater was a really important effect in the Witchwood. It was so impactful that they ended up rotating it 1 year early because they just didn't want this play pattern to be in Hearthstone. John, what's up, dude? Currently grading spell work for students. Should I give them all A's on this assignment? I don't think you should ask me that question. Unless they all did a really good job. Okay, but I'm gonna tell you this right now. I don't think the worst expansion for we're not talking about the worst expansion today, though. We're talking about the expansion that fundamentally changed Hearthstone for the worst. And that expansion is the Grand Tournament. Now, I know what you guys are probably thinking. What are you talking about? Why would it be the Grand Tournament? Well, let me tell you why. Okay, here we go, chat. This is, I thought I did a lot of effort into this. I want you guys to know I was prepared for this. We first have to start off with the very beginning of Hearthstone, which was, of course, classic Hearthstone. So just to have this on screen, just so we have something on screen. Okay, just so we have something on screen. Okay, so classic Hearthstone was a really good game. Okay, now most people, when they first got into Hearthstone, it was their very first card game. At the time Hearthstone was released in 2013, it was a pretty crazy time for Blizzard, because even if you have never played World of Warcraft, you probably heard about Alliance or Horde, something along those lines. And when you heard Blizzard's making a card game, it's like really good studio making a genre that has never really been done well on the virtual like PC virtually. It hasn't been done well virtually, right? This is a really big time for Hearthstone. And the way that Blizzard designed this game was really important because it was super easy for players to get into. One of the biggest problems with games like Magic the Gathering is that there's a huge investment to get into it, right? Not only do you have to go out and buy the cards, but you fundamentally have to learn how to play the game. And then you have to go find places to actually play the game, unless your friends had it. And when you're super young, when this game came out, like when this game came out, I was 15, 16. I'm not spending my money on Magic the Gathering. Are you insane? Are you out of your mind? But when Hearthstone came out, it was free to play. It was a very big deal. It was fundamentally changing the industry forever, right? And you can see it now. Runeterra, Magic Arena, Marvel Snap, they're all here because of this particular game right now, right? It was a very big deal. So 2014 comes out. Hearthstone is very successful. I'm 27. I'm 27. Hearthstone was very successful. It was a very good base set. One of the best things that Hearthstone Classic had was that they had the ability to balance the game around all existing cards in the format. You know, when a new expansion comes out and the Hearthstone balance team is all out of whack because they're like, oh, we're introducing all these new cards. We don't really know how they're going to interact with everything. Classic Hearthstone was great because they balanced the entire game around all of the cards available. Now, did they do a perfect job? Depends on who you ask, but for what it was pretty great. And Hearthstone was basically set up to be one of the best games, if not the best card game ever made. Now relax, I know some people in the chat are gonna be like, wait, Magic the Gathering is still best. It's fine, just hold on, let me speak my mind here, okay? This is just for the YouTube video, all right? I'm hyping people up. You gotta get hyped up. Investment, you know what I mean? Okay, we then get the first big thing to Hearthstone, okay? The first big thing to Hearthstone was this set right here, okay? The first big thing, so after Classic Hearthstone was done, okay, after Classic Hearthstone came out in 2014, very soon after, surprisingly, we got Curse of Naxxramas. All right, now Curse of Naxxramas was a very big thing for Hearthstone because a lot of players, like even me from personal experience, I didn't even think that Hearthstone would have expansions. I thought the game was just going to be those cards, and that was it. This was a very big moment in Hearthstone, right? People are typing Nax out in chat. People still say Nax out after all these years because it was so impactful to players. I remember my wee little lad in, I think I was in like university at the time. It was, no, because this came out in July. What the hell was I doing? I must have been out of my mind that year. I remember being very excited though. I'll tell you what, I couldn't wait to play Naxxramas. And I guarantee all of these new players who came to this card game were really excited for Naxxramas. And honestly, you gotta really shout out Blizzard because the way that they did it was fantastic. Not only did they give you brand new cards, they gave you a reason to be invested into the story of Naxxramas. I had no idea what Naxxramas was, and I felt like I had a stronger connection to Naxxramas than maybe the original game because there was a story to it. You know, you're going through Naxxramas, you're doing the week by week, and it felt really fun to earn those cards. It felt like it was an actual adventure, and Naxxramas was awesome. Except for one thing. Let me find it. Hold on. I had it open and I must have closed it. Hold on. All right. Except for one thing, and that was this card right here. Now, if you don't remember this card is called Undertaker. This card was a severe problem because it showcased two issues with Hearthstone that we didn't really see in Classic up until that point in time. Number one was the lack of Blizzard doing nerfs or buffs to the game. This card fundamentally warped the meta around it and made a deck called Undertaker Hunter. That deck was an extremely aggressive archetype that not only was very cheap, which is a very big deal, and I'll get to that later, but on top of that, it showcased that introducing new cards into the game increases the power level of Hearthstone, which goes without saying. Most of the time when you make something new to the game, you want it to be impactful, but this card was a little bit over the top. Generally, the game, the play pattern here was you would play Undertaker, you would develop other minions, you would get tempo, and this thing keeps getting bigger, and your opponent, if they just couldn't answer it on turn 2 or 1, the game was virtually over. Not a lot of classes in the game really had an opportunity to just fight against this, and it ended up being, and maybe you guys would disagree with me, but I would say that Undertaker during its time in Standard was a top 3 deck of all time in Hearthstone. It was warping the format around this card. It was ridiculous. Now, the problem with this, no, sorry, you might say to yourself, Rarran, Hearthstone does nerfs all the time. Why didn't they nerf this card? And that was the second big thing about Hearthstone that people did not really expect. And that is Ben Brode and their team was making a card game for new players, okay? And if you're a brand new player for the game, one of the things you don't want to do is overwhelm them with information, okay? So if you're a brand new player and you're constantly logging into Hearthstone, but you don't have a ton of time to play, so maybe you're going for like once a week or twice a week, every other week, whatever, you don't want to be overwhelmed. You want to just be able to play the deck that you want to play. So if they constantly did buffs and nerfs, the retention of players would feel like they're overwhelmed. They're brand new to card games. They didn't want to do that. There's also the huge economy side for that, but that's for a different video at this time, which means Undertaker Hunter was in the game for a very long time. Most of the time right now, if something's absolutely broken, It will be in the game for, I want to say, 2 weeks, maybe a month. Maybe they go to like Christmas break, but then they come back. Most of the time, cards in Hearthstone that are absolutely broken currently, I want to say, are nerfed within a month. This card, chat, how many of you guys know how long this card was unnerfed? 6 months this card was unnerfed. That means that up until the release, even after the release of GvG, Undertaker Hunter was still in the game, absolutely dominating the format. And because the deck was so cheap, people were able to craft it. They were able to absolutely roll ladder with it. And because it was, let's be real here, guys, let's be real. I'm not gonna say aggro decks are really easy to play, but I think it's pretty easy to play Undertaker Hunter, right? You full mull for it, you hit face, your opponent dies, it's pretty easy. So every single person had access to this. The only thing you had to do was just unlock the card through Curse of Naxxramas. This was the first major issue with Hearthstone, in my opinion, at least. Now, there are some cards in Classic, like Leroy Jenkins or Gadgetzan Auctioneer, that probably could have been nerfed earlier, but like this was the first card that was like, why aren't they nerfing this? Like what's going on? Like you have a virtual card game. Now, again, I kind of explained the making sure your new players understand what's going on. And that's really, really important. But again, imagine if, like, just as a quick sidetrack here, imagine if now they added Curse of Naxxramas into Hearthstone Classic, but they actually nerfed the card before it was too late. Because by the time this card was nerfed, we got to our very next expansion, which is Goblins versus Gnomes. Goblins versus Gnomes came out December 8th, 2014, chat. That's when Goblins versus Gnomes came out. And before we even get to this set, because I think this set is extremely impactful as well, this card was nerfed. I want to show you guys, just in case you just don't believe me for some reason. This card was nerfed January 29th, 2015, which means almost 2 months after this expansion was released, Undertaker Hunter was still a very good deck to play in Hearthstone. It was not a good time. Okay, it was not a good time. But regardless, we move on to Goblins versus Gnomes. Now, in case you're curious, by the way, this is all gonna lead up into why I think the Grand Tournament just changed Hearthstone forever. But we have to get all this information up until this point so you guys understand the big thesis here. So Goblins versus Gnomes comes out. And this is the very first time I'm gonna actually look at cards during that were released during the set, because I think, I think that Goblins versus Gnomes was an extremely important set into Hearthstone. Now, if I asked you right now, how did you feel about Goblins versus Gnomes? I can almost guarantee you that it would either be one of the following. You hated this expansion or you love this expansion. This was a very polarizing expansion, and they did this very intentionally because this expansion was one of the most random expansions Hearthstone has ever done. The very powerful cards of this expansion were random. They all basically had the text. Sorry, let me go to this scene real fast. Yeah, this scene. They basically all had the text plus like random +1 attack. I'm talking about the cards that were mainly playable for this case, right? Unstable Portal, really, really good effect. It was absolutely dominant, random, right? Goblin Blast Mage, a very impactful card in Mech Mage, random, right? That, of course, that's Mage though, right? Random. There's cards like this that were also very good, but we'll talk about that later. I'm going through the mainly the point here. I'm trying to address here. Random. Let's see what other we got. Random, basically another friendly one. Random. There's this a card like this. Random, like this is like turbo randomness. I hope they never make a card like this ever again. One of my most hated cards of all time is this one right here, and I am a Warlock main. But you know why they did this is because they realized very, very soon after Hearthstone's release is that what do new players like more than just playing the game and really thinking about their turns, right? Most players who play Hearthstone are not going to be this high legend player. Most of them are going to be in silver or gold or whatever what the ranking system was back at the time. Let's make the game more random, right? If we make the game more random, people who don't want to be a high legend player can just have fun in Hearthstone. And again, if you look at a lot of these cards, there was a huge emphasis on making sure that randomness was very important. Also, they released mech archetypes for some classes. Cards like Cogmaster ended up seeing a ton of play because mechs were really, really good in the expansion. And they did that intentionally, right? They wanted players to feel like, hey, you don't have to be a high legend god to run Miracle Rogue. You could just play Mech Mage. It's a pretty simple deck. It's not going to take you a lot of brain power, but you'll probably have a lot of fun playing it and you'll end up winning games for it. And it was a super important expansion. Again, I wasn't like a ginormous fun, or so that was a real sentence. I wasn't like a huge fan of this expansion, but I did end up liking it. It was extremely fun to play. And that's also one of the reasons why Discover is such a popular keyword and they keep bringing it back, is because people love randomness. And the core part of this expansion, the core mechanic of this expansion was spare parts. The mechanic of the expansion, chat, was randomness, right? Now, this one, you may hate spare parts, but I will give credit where credit is due. I actually think this mechanic was really well done. I like that it's RNG, but it's RNG you could think about. There's not too many options. It's not super variants. It's like, hey, like, if they didn't play the taunt, maybe it's going to be the stealth one or something along those lines. It was cool. And randomness is what made Hearthstone come into the limelight. Again, I could do probably a better job of showcasing why this set was so impactful. But this set, chat, I promise you guys, after the release of GvG and the nerf of Undertaker, was ginormous for this game. And if people think back, like, I've been playing this game since closed beta. If I think back to what expansion I probably played the most, it was probably Goblins versus Nobs, because the expansion was so crazy, right? We finally got finished with Undertaker Hunter, and now there's just this huge variance of a metagame that not only come from the metagame or the decks you're going to play against in the metagame, but from the cards themselves. And this was a very big expansion for Hearthstone at the time. Again, I could go through this more. Some of the cards were just bad, but some of the cards, again, like Unstable Portal, people love this card, and it'll be one of people's favorite cards for a very long time. Also, because of GvG, Hearthstone tournaments got a little bit more exciting, right? There was one of the tournament moments I can remember where Rarran was against, I think, Life Coach. He unstable portaled and got a Kor'kron Elite and Mage, and he won the game. Like, that was crazy, man. And people never saw this. We also haven't even talked about the neutrals really of this set. I kind of branched over this slightly, but cards like Piloted Shredder, ended up being the most, I want to say probably the most played neutral, because of how powerful this effect was, right? It was crazy, and people love this card. And on top of that, I can't disrespect my boy Dr. Boom. Crazy effect. The randomness of the boom bots was extremely interesting to play with and against. You may have hated it, but a lot of people, I guarantee, loved it. Sneed's another fan favorite here. People love this effect because summoning a random legendary at the time was like, what the hell? This is insane, right? It's so crazy. Hearthstone realized very, very, very soon after the release of, Classic, that this game isn't just about hardcore card players anymore. This game is about, the casual player. And that's what they have to focus on basically after Classic, that's what they focused on. And if you don't believe me, chat, the very next expansion showcases what they started to do. Okay. Now, I could talk more about GvG, but I hope basically to sum up GvG is that they started to push the game into more of a casual way, right? They didn't want it to be this super competitive, only good card game players can do it. They wanted to make the game be as fun as possible, even if you don't have a ton of time to play the game. And that was the initial goal for Hearthstone. But then we move on to Blackrock Mountain. Now, I don't know about you guys. I love this set. This is one of my favorite sets of all time. Okay, I think this set was so good. It was not only thematically, but just the cards in the game were so fun to play with. If you don't remember what this expansion was, or I should say adventure at the time, again, this was a smaller set. This introduced us to two of the probably most famous cards of all time, which, if you don't remember, is Grim Patron and Emperor Thorson. All right. These two cards were so important to Hearthstone as well, because not only did this add another way of playing Hearthstone with just neutral mana cheating, so combos that you couldn't do before were added to the game, it showcased a brand new archetype with Grim Patron, showing people that like new cards into this game are always going to be impactful. And we could show people that with even a simple effect like that doesn't seem very strong, we can make a deck that's so freaking powerful that you're gonna want to try it. How many of you guys who played during the set tried Grim Patron Warrior? Because either you saw a high level streamer play it, or maybe you went against it on ladder and went, what the hell just happened to me? Or maybe you saw Rarran, Life Coach, whatever streamer or whatever tournament was, whatever player was in a tournament playing this deck, because this was literally brought to every single tournament because it was so good. On top of that, we were also introduced to Nefarian, which added, 2 random cards from your opponent's class. This was I believe, really the first neutral like thief-esque cards. Again, not a very impactful card, but goddamn, bro, this card was hyped as hell because people really like this effect. There's a couple of memes in here, don't get me wrong. This card is still laughed at, right? But this was a very good set in Hearthstone. Very, very, very good set. Dragon Priest was finally alive, which was cool. That was probably the bigger thing. Flamewaker, again, randomly split among all enemies. They knew what they were doing. Quick Shot. I mean, Face Hunter. But generally speaking, Hearthstone was doing a pretty good job until this point. Not only was Grim Patron a really good way of appeasing the competitive Hearthstone players, but they were still realizing that most of our player base was a big fan of randomness, a big fan of value, a big fan of doing crazy, wacky stuff. If you go watch these Trollden videos from a while ago, dude, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. Which leads us to our next expansion, chat. The Grand Tournament. Now, I said at the beginning of this, the Grand Tournament was a very big deal. And the reason why it was a big deal was because this was the first big expansion. Again, the Blackrock Mountain expansion was just an adventure, but the first big expansion, because I did not mention this, do any of you guys remember what happened between Goblins versus Gnomes and Blackrock Mountain? Do any of you guys remember what happened? This was, and when I mean what happened, it was very big for Hearthstone because it allowed people to play Hearthstone on their mobile device. Mobile gaming in the year 2015 was the year that Hearthstone had an iOS and Android application. This was a big deal. Now you don't need a PC to play Hearthstone anymore. You just need your mobile device. And that Blizzard meme, like, don't you guys have phones? Like, haha. More players than ever were gonna try Hearthstone, and especially because I think at the time the App Store was like really interested in promoting Hearthstone. Maybe Blizzard was just shuffling some money on the side to give it extra promotion in the App Store, but like this was a big time. And when you release an adventure like Blackrock Mountain, it was crazy because this was the first expansion where like the mobile, or first adventure that mobile players got to just feel that, get the feeling of like new cards being introduced into the game, which is so fun. Like even right now, we are in the middle of card reveal season and people are so excited for new cards. I remember that time in 2015, dude. I played this game since closed beta, but I guarantee some of you might have just been introduced to Hearthstone on your mobile device. Really big deal. We also got Tavern Brawl during this time, which was like, I believe the very first Tavern Brawl they ever did was like Nefarian versus Ragnaros, which was really cool. People were big fans of that. Tavern Brawl was a brand new way to play Hearthstone. It just changed the rules slightly. It was a big deal. Chat, I want to show you guys something that I look at regularly, which is Google Trends. Okay. Now, we need to zoom here slightly. Okay. So here is the Google trend of Hearthstone. Now, some of you guys might not understand what this means. Google Trends is basically how popular a search term is at any given time. So if you write in Hearthstone right now, you are affecting how popular Hearthstone is during March 2023 when I'm recording this video. This is when Hearthstone was released, right around here. This is when Curse of Naxxramas was released, right? This is when Goblins versus Gnomes was released. This is when mobile device for Hearthstone was released. Do you guys know what this tick is right here? The highest on the Google Trends. Do you know what time that is, chat? That is the Grand Tournament. And you can see how hyped this expansion was. You can see the most popular time ever in Hearthstone was the Grand Tournament. And this is where we come to the Grand Tournament fundamentally changed Hearthstone forever. Okay, now before we go any further, we first have to summarize what I've been talking about for the past 20 minutes or so. All right, what did we learn about expansion so far, chat? Number one, there's a really fun feeling of looking at new cards and trying to react to them, trying to guess how good a card was going to be. It was a really big moment. It's always a big moment in Hearthstone. Every expansion has been extremely impactful to Hearthstone's metagame, right? We look at Curse of Naxxramas, dominated by Undertaker. GvG came out after Undertaker was nerfed. We saw a huge change in the metagame. Then we saw Blackrock Mountain come out. Huge difference of Flamewaker Mage into Emperor Thorson decks, into Grim Patron, right? Things were looking up. We had the mobile release for Hearthstone 2. We have to remember that, right? The Grand Tournament came out, chat. Now, before we even go into the cards of the Grand Tournament and why it kind of fundamentally changed Hearthstone, we first have to understand what the Grand Tournament was for people who did not know. I don't know about you guys. My voice sounded really weird there. I don't know about you guys, but the flavor of the Grand Tournament, what the frick? It's private. The flavor of the Grand Tournament was one of my favorites of all time. All right, one of my favorites of all time. Let me just put this in the background real fast, right? One of my favorites of all time. It looked goofy as hell, right? It looked crazy interesting. There are so many different characters coming into. Who doesn't like a huge battle of all these really interesting characters, right? The cinematic song is catchy as hell. Let me just put it on for a second real fast.
Legends will rise based on their merits. There's even pirates riding Paris. It's the Grand Tournament.
Okay. I can promise you, chat, that a lot of people after the release of mobile Hearthstone was really excited for this expansion. Okay, look at the just array of different characters in this cinematic. Just this one shot alone. You thought I didn't pause this on purpose, chat? I did. Really want to point this out. Trolls. I believe this is like an undead. We have like this cute looking frog thing. We have mech horse, a panda, a dwarf. I believe that's a dwarf. Whatever this guy is, probably just a stray human. There's so much going on that even if you were invested into the World of Warcraft universe, this got you really excited. And if you were a World of Warcraft person and you tried Hearthstone because you liked Warcraft, this was also a really big moment, because for a lot of players, this was, I could be wrong, but I believe it's Northrend, right? Northrend sounds correct. I think it's Northrend. I could be wrong. Don't freaking flame me if I'm wrong, but the hype was real for this expansion. Okay, the hype was very real for this expansion. And again, what we learned earlier was every expansion has impacted Hearthstone in such a significant way. So what did the Grand Tournament bring to Hearthstone, chat? Well, the Grand Tournament brought two extremely interesting things. Well, actually, a little bit more interesting things we should talk about, because this is a very good article. All right. Grand Tournament was announced. This is the expansion. Sorry, I gotta find the actual page of the Grand Tournament. Hold on. Okay. So this is the grand, get this freaking shit out of my, this is the grand tournament, right? This was expansion was going to be released August 24th, 2015. And not only was there going to be a couple of new keywords and like a pseudo keyword, basically, which was the joust. We also got this quest log, which is the introduction of the high rank bonus chest. Okay. Now this bonus chest was pretty great. I think it was in this article actually, was it? Yeah. This bonus chest was really great because it gave you a prize, or, you know, I guess not a prize, but a reward for doing well in ranked. And at this time, a lot of you guys probably don't remember that Hearthstone was not the best game in terms of free to play because the economy was mimicking real life card games. So it was a little frustrating sometimes to get some cards. I remember being there. So when they announced this, it was a pretty big deal, right? It gave you an incentive to play more. It gave you a reason to play better. It was a pretty great time. Now, unfortunately, before we even released, I can't remember when this card was actually released. So hold on, we're going to double check real fast because I don't want to get this wrong. I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was before. I remember being really sad. Or was it after? Was it after? Oh, sorry. Not this card. Hold on. I'm just double checking I don't get this wrong. Was this card nerfed before or after? So 2015, 1020. This card was nerfed. 1020. Okay, so this card, Grim Patron Warrior, was still in the game when this expansion was about to be released. We got two exciting ideas for keywords, right? We got Inspire. Inspire was basically when you hit your hero power, your cards do an additional thing. So basically the card should have read, if you spend 2 mana and use your hero power, you get an additional effect. We also got Joust, which was a mechanic of you pull one card from each player's deck. Whoever has the highest cost card, if you're the card who played the Joust card, you win the Joust, right? Which means you get an additional effect. But it doesn't make any sense playing Joust because Joust was all about tempo. And in order for you to win Joust, you had to build a pretty high-end deck. So it kind of ended up just being a useless mechanic into the game, unfortunately. Inspire did have some pretty great cards, but we're going to get to that later. But I will say, even though Inspire and Joust did not end up being a super impactful mechanic, they were really, like, people were excited, right? I remember when they showcased Inspire and I was like, damn, that sounds like a really cool thing. I love using my hero power. There's something really juicy about playing for value, right? There's something really fun about playing for value. It's just awesome to not think about like, oh, I want to kill my opponent. I just want to play as long as I possibly can. And that's what Inspire was basically going for. It's also super easy to understand. People love the hero power. Joust, again, super interesting idea. But in reality, it didn't end up working, right? It was kind of, it's kind of whatever. But Joust was a fun way of doing randomness, right? Even though you can kind of build around the randomness, it was pretty fun to have that randomness effect. And the randomness didn't disappear with this expansion, by the way. This was a, I want to say, underwhelming expansion in terms of the power level of the cards, but there was still quite a bit of randomness in there. So let's go take a look at the cards real fast. This is not the Grand Tournament Hearthstone. This is, let me go to this. Okay. So when we look at this set, right, a lot of the cards ended up being really weak, but the most favorite cards, honestly, were cards like Spellslinger. People love this card, even though it wasn't super impactful. Again, I'm just going to preface this entire expansion by like, 99% of the cards weren't impactful. Okay. And this is going to be very important, chat. So make sure you're writing down notes. The power level of this expansion cannot be understated of how bad it was for Hearthstone. And this is the first time I'm really going to talk about bad. Okay. This expansion having super weak cards was really, really bad for Hearthstone, but there was a couple of fun ones, right? Spellslinger was really cool. It was fun. People really like Caldara Drake. It was super interesting. Murloc Knight ended up being a pretty great card. This was like probably one of the best Joust cards into the game because it actually works. We all know about this card. This card ended up being very powerful because of it. I'm trying to look what else there is. This card, fan favorite card right here. I guarantee you people love this card even if they didn't play against it because it was like, holy moly, it is so insanely cool. People love this card, right? I'm trying to see if there's anything else here. Burgle. Oh my God. People love Burgle, right? Burgle was poggers. It was super fun. But again, it wasn't super great because the power level of this card was just so weak. It just wasn't super great. And even like for Shaman, we got cards like this one, which ended up being a super big problem, especially in Karazhan, but we're not going to talk about that right now. That's maybe for a different video. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Wilford Fizzlebang, honestly, one of my most anticipated cards at the time, because I was like, damn, 2 mana to get a 0 cost card. Insane. Is that random aspect to Hearthstone that's just enough that makes you want to hit that dopamine rush every single time, but ended up being too slow. It was very unfortunate. We got Taunt Warrior for Warrior. It just, most of the set was bad, but it ended up being that Inspire was just too slow. And I don't really understand why a lot of these cards are like this. For instance, where is this card I'm talking about right here? This one. Okay. Not this one, sorry. I think there's one card that really showcases it. This card. Okay. This card really showcased the balancing for this set. I couldn't believe they made this set, or this card. Okay. This card is really bad because it basically says you can replace the text of this card and just say this minion can only attack if you use your hero power. That's pretty bad. That's it's pretty shit, chat. It's pretty garbage. All right. There's nothing else to really be said here. It's pretty bad. Okay. We had cards like where's the other one that really was really interesting. This card was another fan favorite. People love this card. People still love this card to this day. They released a mage hero card recently and people really liked it because Nexus Champion Sarad was one of their favorite cards from all time, right? It was just a really cool card. Now, I'm not gonna say every card was bad because you could go through this and be like, yeah, like Chilma ended up seeing play, right? And one of my favorite cards of all time, Justicar Trueheart, ended up seeing play, right? And that was a really fun card. I love this card. I wish they would bring it back, right? Also, just by looking, like Twilight Guardian ended up seeing play. It made the dragon archetype just slightly better. I'm trying to think of like mainly there was a couple good, like Varian ended up seeing play. Nexus Champion Sarad ended up seeing play in value decks for sure. Warlock had a pretty rough set. Thunderbuff Valiant saw play. Again, we can go through like the individual cards that saw play, but the main thing I want to talk about this expansion is that most of the cards in this set were just not good. And this was a big deal because like I showed you guys before, going up until the grand tournament, this was the most popular expansion at the time. This is still, according to Google Trends, the most popular Hearthstone expansion of all time. Chat, I have been lying to you guys this whole freaking time. I am not a free-to-play player. No, I'm kidding. I was a free-to-play player up until the grand tournament. Actually, no, that's not true. I guess I bought something in closed beta because I do have Golden Geblin, but whatever. I was basically a free-to-play player up until the grand tournament. The grand tournament is the very first expansion where I pre-ordered. Chat, I was so excited for this expansion. I couldn't explain to you how excited I was, right? And maybe I'm not doing enough justice here of actually hyping up this expansion enough, but everything was coming together. Really interesting mechanics before we knew how bad they were going to be. A really awesome, flavorful expansion. The greatest at the time cinematic, at least to get you excited for the expansion. Dude, it was so cool. I wanted the card back so bad as well. I was so amped for the card back. This expansion looked like it was going to be really good. Cat, it ended up being the worst expansion by a mile because the power level was too weak as I've adjusted before. Now, you might be asking yourself, Rarran, what is this huge significant drop from I wish I could zoom in more, but what is this huge significant drop from this moment to this moment? Does anyone know what this is? I'll tell you what it is, chat. I'll tell you what it is. It's depressing. That's what it is. That is when the Grand Tournament was released, and the uptick was for the League of Explorers. Can you guys see that? I don't know if you guys can see it. Yeah. The downtrend is from the Grand Tournament all the way into the League of Explorers. And we can see where the League of Explorers comes out. It's that little tick right here. This is where the League of Explorers is. But look at the dramatic drop from this moment up until the release of the Grand Tournament. And why did this happen? Well, people didn't feel like they got their money's worth, right? If I'm going to put $80 for a bunch of packs, I want them to be good. And this is speaking from personal experience. I felt horrible. I was pissed. I was like, Blizzard taking my money? Excuse me? Where's my good cards? Right? And because there was no duplicate protection at the time, a lot of the cards you opened sucked ass. So it's like, I'm just disenchanting all of these cards to just get cards that absolutely sucked for the most part, right? Grim Patron ended up being nerfed, which was a very big deal because the most popular deck in the format ended up being a deck that played on curve for the entire time. Secret Paladin ended up being very good because of, like I described before, I guess we'll here, sure. Is it this one? Yeah. Secret Paladin ended up being really good because of this card right here. It turned out that, you know, 6-mana 6/6 pulling a bunch of secrets out of your deck was really good. Again, just like Mech Mage from Goblins versus Gnomes, this was a pretty easy deck to play. It was very cheap. It ended up being super popular. So not only was Hearthstone disappointing in the sense that the cards didn't live up to the expectations, not only was the mechanics of the set just not super impactful for the game, we ended up going against a deck that was basically Face Hunter version 2.0, but arguably more frustrating to play against. Because if you died to Undertaker Hunter, which happened quite a bit, it was quick, right? You knew it was over. Mysterious Challenger, you'd be like, oh, I'm finally okay. They would play this card. Bunch of secrets came out. How many of you guys don't like secrets? I guarantee there are a couple of you that just don't like secrets. And this card would come out, followed by Dr. Boom, followed by Tyrion Fordring, and it felt like almost every single deck played the exact same for a really long period of time. And there was a clip, from Firebat, who was the first world champion of Hearthstone, who said, I'm gonna try to paraphrase what he said. I can't remember the exact quote, but it was like, Hearthstone has become a game where you just play the best thing on curve and it's not fun anymore, which is basically what Secret Paladin was. And it ended up being just super frustrating to play. And remember when I talk about nerfs, chat, Blizzard didn't think that Secret Paladin was a problem. And to be fair, comparatively to like Undertaker Hunter before it or Grim Patron Warrior, it wasn't as dominant, but you did see it still a lot. And I guarantee you, people who wanted to play on ladder were only against Secret Paladins because it was so easy to craft. It was a very frustrating experience for Hearthstone at this time. And that is why, that's my cue, this is my thesis, chat, of why the Grand Tournament was not only the most hyped, but the most disappointing expansion of all time. And it fundamentally changed Hearthstone forever. Because what if, chat, Hearthstone had the philosophy they do now where they made balance changes? Imagine if a lot of these cards were just more powerful. Where would Hearthstone be on this Google trend? Would it have maybe maintained its popularity? We'll never know. But Grand Tournament fundamentally changed the game. Now, I'll give Blizzard credit because they clearly saw what happened with the Grand Tournament, and they made probably the most fun expansion, I want to say maybe ever. Like, it was, if you know, you know, which ended up being the League of Explorers. And people love this. People love the League of Explorers. I still remember it fondly. Another great adventure. It had a really good trailer. It was hyping people up. It introduced Discover. Just a very good adventure. And thankfully, because of the League of Explorers, it did bring some hype back. And then this is where I believe we got the first rotation with Old Gods, but then you could see what happened after that. Right here is Karazhan, in case you guys are curious. And then I think this is Ungoro, around Ungoro time. But yeah, chat, that's my thesis on why I think, well, that's my video, I guess, on why The Grand Tournament fundamentally changed Hearthstone forever. I hope you guys liked it. I thought about it a lot. I've been thinking about this expansion a lot. I feel like people don't give this enough thought, because it would have been really interesting to see what Blizzard would have done if they had the same philosophy they do now, which is just changing cards. But yeah, that's my thought process. I feel like I could have done a better job, but I don't know how much preparing I need for that. I hope you guys enjoyed. Oh God, that was a lot of speaking. That was someone said you had Google Trends in Canada. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Even with worldwide, dude, it's the same thing. It's even more hyped when we go to worldwide. It's even more hyped. It's even more hyped when you go worldwide, dude. It's even worse. You guys shouldn't have said anything. It's worse. Anyways, if you guys like this, I hope you guys did. If you guys want another expansion review or a year review, I got people might think that I'm wrong about this, but I feel like the data doesn't lie. You could be like, oh, my experience was the Witchwood was worse and it made me leave Hearthstone because Baku and Shudderwalk were miserable to play against, right? But in terms of just raw stats and just the numbers and how hyped TGT was, it was a very lackluster expansion. But there you guys go. Also, if you're curious about me talking about the Witchwood, or the Year of the Raven, I should say, and how impactful that set was to the game, there is a video on my channel, which I will probably link in the description at some point. All right, chat. Hope you guys enjoyed. Okay. You guys are saying there's new cards. No. Is that the equipment? Amplified Elic. 10 mana, 6/12 taunt, death rattle, deal 3 damage to all enemy minions. What? Why is it 10 mana? I was like, man, for like 8 mana, that's not too bad. Or 7 mana, that's fine. Why is it 10 mana? All right, hold on. Before everyone starts laughing, remember, for those of you who played in Skullman's Academy, when we saw Guardian Animals and we're like, haha, that's so freaking bad, but then they showed like the neutrals that we got from it. This might be like the reverse, right? Where it looks really bad, but then like maybe there's a way to like cheat it out earlier, right? So we'll see. Frequency Oscillator. 1 mana, 2/1 battle cry. The next mech you play costs 1 less. Very spooky card. Anytime there's mana cheating, I get scared, but it should be fine. I'm glad it's a 2/1 and not a 1/2. That actually makes a pretty big difference, but that's a fine card. Could be very good. Could be very good. There's still so Mech Paladin might want this. Mech Mage could want this. It could be a very spooky card. It's we'll have to wait and see, right? And I'm sure this will be a set with a bunch of mechs in it. Stereo Totem. 2 mana, 0/3. At the end of your turn, give a random minion in your hand +2/+2 totem. It's a must kill card. I mean, what is it to say, right? You have to kill it. Like, would you play? Okay, so if you play a 2 mana 0/3 with this effect, that means, so in the sense, you could look at this as like a 2 mana 2/5 chat, right? 2 mana 2/5, but the 2/2 is on another minion. That's not bad, man. And it's neutral. It's kind of like, it's a must. Like, you have to kill this card. Like, if you don't kill this card, it's very spooky, right? It's very spooky. Because like every turn this card is up, it just gets so much scarier. Because if it lives for 2 turns, that's a 2 mana, what is that, 4/7? Oof. Very snowbally effect here. Not really a 2/5 because the 0/3 part doesn't deal damage. Fair, but like, you still get 2/2 stats on something, right? The only reason I'm giving this card a really scary effect is because it's 2 mana, right? Like, cards like this is almost like the same thing as like Undertaker Hunter. Like you actually need to kill this card. Like if you, and I'm sure there will be ways to kill this card pretty often, but like every single turn this lives, it's just very like it's a very spooky card. If you coin this card out and your opponent doesn't have an answer to it, it's terrifying. Like it's terrifying. So could be a problem, but I don't think it's broken. Metronome, 3 minute 2. I love the name. Metronome, 2 minute, 3 minute 2/4. After you play a 1 cost card, draw a 2 cost card. What the fuck? Okay, would I play a 1 mana 2? Okay, would I play a 3 mana 2/4, draw 1, 4 mana 2/4, draw 1 with whatever the stats happen to be on the 1 draw? Maybe. You draw a 2 cost card. You get to tutor a 2 cost card. So that I would imagine that the way that this works is like, if you play a 2 cost card, you get a 3 cost card, right? And then if you play a 3 cost card, you get a 4 cost card. It's good. This is a kind of like the totem. Like you have to, you gotta kill this card. You gotta kill this card. Like it might be too, like 3 mana might be a little too slow, but it could be really good. The benefit of a card like this is, let's say that you're playing for board, right? You keep this card into your hand until you have no, like you don't have a lot of cards, but then you play this, you play a 1 cost, you play a 2 cost, you end up drawing cards for your hand and you develop tempo. I mean, dude, it can be fine. I'm gonna be real. It's a spooky ass card. This is an incredibly terrifying card. I don't think you ever want to play this on curve. I think you play this on turn 4 if you're looking for more draw. Otherwise, you hold it for like a huge swing draw turn. It's a scary card. It's a scary card. I don't know if it's gonna be good, but again, like this card, this card and this card and this card are all spooky. Start of each turn, sorry, 3 mana 5/6 static waveform elemental. At the start of each turn, lose 1 attack or health. Chosen randomly, it's an elemental. Excellent flavor here, man. Oh my god. 3 mana 5/6. So the turn after you play this, your opponent has to deal with either a 4/6 or a 5/5. Comes back to your turn, and then it's a 4/5 or a 5/4, or whatever happens to be. All right, I'm just going for 1 here. I think in an aggro deck, you're pretty happy with this, man. Like, I mean, why you'd be fine with this. Like, worst case, like, which, in a sense, let's just say you'd play, like, let's just say, would you guys play a 3 mana 5/5 with no negatives? Like we see a 2 mana 5/5 for priest right now that dies after it attacks. I think I would play that in an aggressive deck. I think I would play that in both. Yeah, I'd play that in an aggressive deck. It's very, like, you can go face, you could trade. It's huge tempo. You could silence it. It's also true. It's pretty good. It's pretty scary, dude. Again, like, all of these cards are so contextual because it really depends on what the metagame is like. In a vacuum, like, this card isn't inherently strong, but if you're going against like an aggressive deck and you play this card and they don't have this card, you're probably 2 for 1 with this, and I think you're pretty happy. Yeah, Alexander, exactly what it is. Yep. Yep. Hey, look at that. 2 mana 2/3 battle cry. Set your maximum mana and hand size to 11. I fucking love this effect, bro. Yo, that is sick. I'm so glad they made this neutral, man. I'm so glad they made this neutral. Thank God it's not a stupid druid card. It's nice that every class has the ability to go to 11. Really fun effect. I love dude, the flavor of this set is so well done. The flavor of this set is so well done. All right. Read the flavor. Did I miss any cards, chat? I feel like that's all of them, right? You thought we were putting Wildheart, Guff, and Core. We would never do that. Wink, wink. Oh, shut the fuck up. Bruh. Bruh. Certified bruh moment, chat. Our Lord made us change the flavor text of this card so we wouldn't get sued. What? What? He's very popular on Click Clock. Bruh. These guys, dude, they're unreal. That's so funny. Yo, Leo, what's up, dude? Leo, could you give us more insight on this card? What is this about? We okay? Like, we okay here, Leo? What's happening here? Frickin'. Sorry, gotta go. Oh, okay, see it. Oh, shit. We scared him, chat. For this show continue, we have a base boost to an elephant in the room. Actually, so funny. You skipped over a new card. I did? What new card? What did I miss? This one? Let's see me make some noise. Dude, Leo, if you're still here, dude, I'm assuming you were in charge of the overall flavor of the entire expansion, every card. You're doing a great job, dude. This is such a great expansion in terms of flavor. I'm also like a huge music guy, so it's cool looking at a lot of these. Like it's so well done. I love this set. This actually might end up being my favorite one, and I haven't even played it. The legendary? What legendary? This one? We talked about this one already. We saw this earlier, Chad. This guy, we talked about him like an hour ago. It was like the first thing I did on stream. Right? Or are we missing something else here? What are you guys talking about, bros? There's one at 2 p.m. Can't watch, only read. Please don't read on new cards. You're an hour ago. All right, Regal. All right. Okay, here's the plan, chat. There's gonna be new cards. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter, by the way. Kyle, shout out to you if you're here. We're gonna play some Hearthstone for about 20 minutes. Look at the description. I did. Yeah, I did. Yo, Leo, are you still here, bro? When are we gonna play some Smash again? I was talking to Gallon about it. I was talking to Gallon. I haven't practiced at all though. I will say that. All right, chat. What do you guys want to do in Hearthstone today? Do you want to do an arena run? The hell was that? Did you guys see that? Hello? Hey, it's not as dormant. I can't open this. Hold on. I gotta make sure you guys can hear. I can't do a whole duels run, chat. I probably won't have time for it. But we can start one. What is new in the shop? I won't be buying this. I'll end up buying both, of course, because you know it's my job. I'm tempted to buy this. So they're just gonna dump out each class each day. That sounds better. Yeah, you know, I really like the way that they're revealing expansions, and I think it's Aklai who decided to do this. But the benefit of this is like we see every neutral card first, and then we get the class cards. So you can build decks based on free your cat from captivity. Okay, I'm gonna go get my cat out. I'll be right back. Give me a sec. I'll just put here. You guys can look at this. All right, he's free. All right. Ooh, just for me? Holy shit! What a deal, bro. Actually, that is a good deal. I need some dust chat. I actually might end up buying this. The best reveal system was we voted for which card they reveal. I don't remember which one that is. What is that? Hey, buddy. No, don't go to the Y. See, chat. I didn't want to let. Okay. These godforsaken cats, man. I swear to God. I'm just gonna start an arena run. All right. Tomorrow we'll do the duels, or not the duels. The tavern brawl. Her mage is pretty good. Vote was for the grand tournament. Another reason for the grand tournament to be successful. I wish you guys mentioned that. Hello? Can you come here? He's being ridiculous. Chat, which one do I want? Do a pack opening stream where you just open 100 packs? I don't know if I necessarily want to do that. I will say this though, for the new expansion, because I do like the signature cards. Actually, is Leo here? Leo, are you here, brother? Is he here? I don't know if he is. If he is, Leo, if you're here, could you explain? Oh shit, my chat bugged. Hold on. I can't see anything. Oh, there we go. If Leo's here, could you let us know if every card is getting a signature card, or is there only like specific ones? That's my one. That's. I hope that they do well. Oh, I'm just gonna put this. What? Huh? Like, so hold on. I'll show you what I mean. Like in March, one of the problems I have with signature cards is that, like, for instance, like March of the Lich King, not every single card got a signature card, right? Only some of them did, which is like annoying because you can't make a deck full of signature cards. But like, I'm assuming it's the same thing because you guys have to pay for the art. They said it was like 13. God damn it, man. It's in the patch notes. All right, I'm cheesed. Can I say about signature cards in the expansion? Okay. Hey, could you stop biting the wires back there, Mr. Cutie? Unlucky, chat. Unlucky. I really wanted this is my my notes. We don't need that anymore. Where's my this is what I'm looking for. Why isn't the music weird? Oh. How much dust will I get from disenchantting signature legendaries of the expansion? I believe they said that like gold, right? That'd be an insane amount of work. Yeah, but like there's something, maybe it's just me and like maybe it's just my issue, but I really like just having a full deck of something, right? Like that's why I don't really care about gold cards, because to me I'd rather have a full deck of golden cards than just like a couple of them. So that's why I always disenchant them, because I'm whatever. Yo, Darius, thanks for the member, bro. I appreciate it. Chat, what do I pick here? This one? It's like a small issue. Of course it's a small issue. It's like a first world problem. I'm just gonna pick cards I think are good. We don't have any secrets, man. I kind of want one, so I'm gonna take it and hope for the best. Hey. Shit. Wow. Oh God. Smite. You're right, man. Listen, I am tired as hell. I'm dealing with a 2-month-old kitten who pats me in the head every morning. What do you guys think? I don't think it's Talon. I don't think drawing this consistently is good. I think it's Smite. I would think about Sir Finley Murgleton, but the mage hero power is just good. So why would I ever want to change it? Choose an enemy minion and swap it with a random one they're done. Discard. I mean, I'm good with this, but this might be better. Oh my god, I forgot this existed. Which one, chat? I think it's this. Let me get. We do have a frost spell. It might be this. Oh man. Well, good decisions here. Yes. I don't know. What do you guys think? Hey, stop biting wires. Stop. Stop. Hey. Attention. Worm. Stop biting wires. Who told me to take my cat out? In theory, Pandarian Importer is Dragonfire Antler if you don't draft one, exactly. Come here. Come here. That's right, you big idiot. Baby nails are so much work. Yeah, I know. It'll get better. I'm just it's just more like two days in a row. I'm like I'm exhausted, man. I think I've gotten like maybe 8 hours of sleep over the past 2 days because he's so wired. This is a great hand. I'm just gonna keep it. Give it 1, 2, 3, 4, sure. Okay, come here, buddy. You've been napping. Hang out. Okay, you can go on the table. How much I sleep a week? That's not something to be confident about, man. Sleep's very important. It helps you be alert. Great draw. How's it with the others? What others? My other cats? My other cats are fine because we got them when they were like older. Like my other cat we have currently she's like 3.5 and she's chill. But shit's exhausting, bro. I don't really care if they generate another card, right? I'm okay with going like Bloom Trade into this or this actually. Or this first. That might end up being good. He said lose board. What's her name? This cat's name is Moon. M-O-O-N. He's a boy. We wanted a boy. We already have a girl. Cats can be very territorial, so you don't want two girls. This is fine. Trading in the current year, never. Got a son too? Nope, not yet. Not yet. Only Moon. I think that's fine. I don't really care. That's whatever, dude. What's this on? I think I'm okay with trading and then just playing this.
I ain't no snitch.
Is there a better play? I can ping like this. A little slow. I'll keep it. I never know if I'm gonna lose the board. Hey, stop eating wires. Jesus Christ. The other one's name is Baby. She probably won't come here. Baby's on edge. Oh, that's a pretty good card. Damn. Damn. I'm really glad I kept my yeah, we do this next turn probably. I just need to go face, right? I don't really like he can gain a lot of tempo is the problem here. So maybe I do kill this. Nah. What's in the box? Oh, that's pretty good. All right, we're gonna go face them. I mean, if you're just gonna give me that, you're just gonna hand it over. I'll be right. Because then we get the other dude anyways. Next turn we can just go ping into flame strike. I think that's fine. A little annoying.
We'll get you back on.
Oh, that's actually really scary. When did we get a cat to learn to play Hearthstone better than Rarran? He actually watches the game, which is pretty funny. But Coda Cold is actually insanely good. It saves me the turn from going to flame strike, which I think is very important. So even if it's frost, it's fine. Okay. Can ping this. I don't really care if he trades in for me. I think this is fine. Cat, if my mic goes muted, it's because my cat's on my audio interface. A cat chews 6 pairs of earphones. He was sure expensive. Yeah. I don't know why he's so addicted to eating technology when he could just not. Ah. Another tear reality.
I spy with my little eye.
Play another card. Damn it. We lose these two, but it is what it is, right? Oh, no. That's a good card. That's a wait, am I gonna lose this? His aim shot. I can kill this. I don't know if it's actually worth it though.
Much to ponder.
Because I can always kill it next turn, but it does feel bad. Because I'm wasting my whole turn for that. This is fine. Fireball ends up being lethal at this point. They have to trade for me, which is good. Yo, Heartless, thanks for 10, bro. Hey, wanted to say I stopped playing HS before Castle and after mini set, but found your content through your collab you do with Lieutenant Eddie. Great content, despite me not playing anymore. Dude, no problems, man. I'm glad you're liking this stuff. Actually, Eddie should have a video on his channel coming out soon, and I will have a video with Eddie soon. I'm dead. Oh, I'm so dead. I guess I'm not dead, but like I'm dead, you know?
Much to ponder. Stop this snowstorm.
Right. I don't need to do this. We chilling. Harley, thanks for your time, bro. John, what's up, dude? Hope you're doing great, dude. Hope you're doing fantastic. Oh god, it's a problem. I guess this is good if we end up drawing fireball. The thief rogue who gave me 3 cards. Oh, let's go. You're upset. What did you get? He got vengeful. Let's go. Is he trading? Is the question. No. Well, I guess he sets up lethal, right? Fireball. I'll take it right now. Thank you so much. We're dead. What are you looking at? I gotta play this game better. On the Diablo 4 hype train. Is anyone on the Diablo 4 hype train? I guess it's like a pretty popular game. I've spoken about it on stream how I just didn't care about it at all. The Diablo 4 queue train. How long's the queue? What's the? Hold on, let me look at Twitch real fast. I mean, to be fair, everyone's playing it. Well, not everyone.
The possibilities are endless.
Where's like there's like a browse for games, right? Diablo 4 has 800,000 viewers watching. That feels like a lot. Betas are often ed. It's probably good. It's good. Yeah, like I don't know. I probably won't get it just because I wasn't a huge fan of the last one. But we'll see. Diablo 4 hype came and went, and then came and went again. Now the game is finally closed. Well, like I feel like I'll gift it to you if you want it, Mr. Regal. I just don't know if I'll play it. I appreciate it though. I just don't know if I'll play it. That's my issue. It's because I'm not a huge fan of grinding. But like if the game is good, like this, okay, does Diablo have PvP? That's the real question. Because if it has PvP, I might be more interested. Because the combat could be fun, but isn't it just about looting? This lets me play this next turn, so that's why I did that. Oh, it's Kermer. What's up, Kermer? I didn't know it was you. Interesting that you guys use your real name for YouTube accounts. I don't think I've ever had like my actual name as a YouTube account, because if I need to comment anything, I don't want my real name to show up. Man, remember Google Plus? That shit was crazy. Google Plus. Rarran's toxic in YouTube chats? No, I don't. Dude, I am the biggest lurker on the planet. All right, I will barely like. Sometimes I'll hang in and like with streamers that I know. Like not personally per se, but like you know what I mean. Like I'll hang out with them and chat. Like I'll watch their stream, and I'll never say anything because I'm like. I'm too scared for some reason. I don't know how to describe it. Damn, that's sick. I've never seen Dexter chat more. To be fair, when Dexter streams, I'm never on my PC. I'm trying really hard to be like... I'm trying really hard not to go on my computer after like a certain time. Well, at least to do work stuff or whatever, right? That's really annoying.
Twice as dead, twice as dead. Ah!
Just be sure you're gonna stream on YouTube more than Twitch at this point. Everything that's a card game will be on this this platform. Everything that's not a card game will be on the other platform. I don't know, man. I like hanging out with small chats where I directly influence the streamer for that clout. That's fair. No, I fair. That's fair. That's definitely fair. Hold on. I saw there's new cards. Do you guys want me to wait till after this game? Oh, wait till after this game. I'll do it. It's a good draw. What is this? Location.
How perplexing.
I don't think I really care about the value here. I'm getting the ally no matter what. I'm just gonna go face. Yo, Kermor, or I don't know if you want me to call you by your weird name, but thank you. Hey, Rarran, do you have any movie advice? What does that mean? Are you making a movie or do you want to watch a movie? What did I watch recently? I watched Couples Retreat this past week. I don't know if you've ever seen that. I know it sounds like a super random movie, but the nostalgia was out of control. I kind of just want to keep going face. Is that bad? Might be. Let's do this first. Good. That's great. I can just freeze this and go face. Yeah, it's a face angle. Wait, you see normal games on Twitch? I was wondering why I didn't see you on them or their channel. Well, so the others, that reminds me, I gotta record an intro for the League video. Yeah. Hey, Rarran, the Creparian can't decide who to eat for dinner. Who to eat? Snowflake for penguin or alley cat? Like Kura or Kermor, okay. Me cook? What the hell did you just ask me? If I go look right now what Mr. Creparian is doing, he is 100% playing Diablo 4. 100%. Right? If I just had to take a guess, what he's up to today. All right, we're back. All right, let's look at this new card. He's playing BGs while he's sitting in Diamond for D4Q. Is he actually? No, he's playing Diablo 4. I'm almost 100% sure. All right, what do we got? All right, chat. After I review these cards, I'm gonna end stream. I am exhausted, bros. All right, what do we got? Oh, hold on. Okay. Merch seller, 4 mana 3/5. At the end of your turn, put a random spell on the top of your opponent's deck. Wow, that's kind of cool. It's a Naga. Really flavorful. Really flavorful Naga, man. I mean, it's not broken, but like, it's not awful either. It's somewhere in between. It's a really big deal if like your opponent's waiting to dredge something, right? It's like the anti-dredge card, which is kind of funny. Also, okay, this card's surprisingly strong because not only are you, the stats kind of suck, but you're delaying your opponent from drawing a good card from your deck. Most spells are garbage. So if you're giving them a spell that they don't want to draw, it ends up being good for you because they skip a draw and you're giving them a card they probably won't play on average. Now, is that good enough to actually run that card in your deck? Probably not. It's probably not good, but it's pretty funny. 3-mana 2/2 battle card. Give a friendly minion attack and health equal to this minion's. Okay, that's really scary. That's a really scary card. I mean, Like, so scary. It's the spookiest thing on the planet. Okay, so for context, Blessing of Kings is a 4-mana. Blessing of Kings is usually I go for buff. So 4 mana for +4/+4 doesn't see play anymore. I think when it was in class or standard, still it doesn't see play. So would a 3 mana +2/+2 and just 2/2 stats see play? Maybe. If you buff it to a 3/3, that's terrifying. If you buff it to a 4/4, I'm probably throwing up. Because that's just like bone marrow at that point. The taunt. 5/5 is disgusting. I mean, it's pretty good. If you buff this card once, it's just good. So it probably sees play. And hand buff decks. Tony, King of Piracy. 5 mana 4/6. Both players' decks are swapped. Finale, draw a card, and it's a pirate. Finale is if this card spends the rest of your remaining mana. So if you play this on turn 5, it spends all your mana. You also draw a card. So you draw a card from your opponent's deck. First and foremost, can we just take a moment to appreciate how good the flavor of this card is? Holy fuck, dude. Leo's whoever designs these cards, like I'm gonna just give it to credit for Leo and the whole team. This is phenomenal. This is such a good card. Just it's such like so well thought out. I'm buying so many packs for this set, dude. I'm buying so many packs. The Jailer, you guys are thinking of Jailer? I mean, okay, so let's just think about this real fast, okay? 5 mana 4/6 is fine. Like, it's not a great stat line, but it is what it is. Both players' decks are swapped is interesting as hell. The problem with this card is that you never want to play this against aggro. Like you never want to play this against aggro, right? If you're going against aggro, you probably lost the game. Because you don't want a bunch of shitters, and because your opponent's gonna already be probably ahead on board. But maybe you put this at the top end of your aggro deck, and then you tell your opponents to go fuck themselves. The swap is an aura, so if Tony leaves, the deck swap back. Oh, okay. Thank you, Leo. Thank you. That's a big deal. Shout out to an aura. Big deal there. Big deal. Interesting, Leo. Why didn't you guys put while this card is on board, both decks are swapped? While this card is on board. Sorcerer's Apprentice doesn't say that. That's fair. All right, fair enough. He's the designer. All right. Interesting. Hard to evaluate a card like this then. If it was like your player, both players deck. So, okay. So this is like a Lucia then, right? It's not like a Lucia because your hand is much more valuable than your deck because you'd rather have the cards in your hand majority of the time because there's more cards in your hand than you're going to draw from your deck. So this is like, I think this goes into aggro. Like, I think it's an aggro deck. Like, you guys are saying the Jailer, but like, you guys would have, like, the problem with the Jailer combo is if it's like Leo just said, you have to play this card and then Jailer, right? You can't Jailer first, then this card. I guess you could. I guess that's better because then it dies. So you Jailer first and then you play this. So then you don't draw any cards. So your opponent can't kill this. Oh, God. Seems very slow. Okay, so the way you do this is you Jailer first, so you have no cards in your deck. You play this after, then this card's immune, so that your opponent can't actually interact with it unless they have a board clear. Unless they have a board clear. And by board clear, I mean like Soul Stealer or something that actually can remove a card without actually dealing damage to it. What an interesting card. What a crazy interesting card, dude. If you have a board clear, clearly you lose because that's just Jailer. Yeah, fair enough. Ramp Druid and then play Tony. Yeah, but like, see, the thing is, man, is I'm pretty confident that you would rather have your deck. Like, you don't put bad cards in your deck. Like, the reason you build a deck is to generally just put good cards into the game so you win, right? So you're swapping your deck for your opponent's deck in the hope that they also have good cards. Because if they don't have good cards, this card is just not good. And it's really contextual too. Really cool card. God, I love this set, dude. I'm gonna put... This is reminding me of Ungoro. Like when Ungoro was released, I was like, damn, that's such a cool effect. Your objective is to give your opponent an empty deck. Yeah, but it's so weak, right? Because you like, so here's the problem with that, right? You're building your deck around 2 legendaries. So let's just say, for instance, you're trying to go for the Jailer and the Tony combo. You have to not only draw Jailer, you have to draw Tony, and you have to then you have to hope that your opponent can't actually just clear your board. So in the decks that can do that, you just lose. Order in the Court, fair enough. So then you're waiting till turn 11. You're waiting till turn 11, hoping that your opponent can't answer your board. I think that's bad. I think it's bad. It's the more I speak on this card. The more I speak on this card. It will further kill control decks, though. I mean, what control deck doesn't have a board clear to answer this, right? Like, let's say the best control deck in the game right now is arguably Blood Death Knight, and Blood Death Knight has like 5 answers for this. So I don't think that's the problem. If Togwaggle and Wild works, why shouldn't this? The difference between Togwaggle and this card is that your opponent has to play a 5-mana card for it to swap back. And sometimes they don't have it. They don't have time to play 5 mana. That's the difference. Like, for instance, it's you could just, if 5 mana is the equivalent of board clearing, instead of you playing a card to get your deck back, Togwaggle is just a better card. Togwaggle is also not super playable. It was only playable in Druid. So you would have like, there is a slight win condition. This is really interesting effect. Like in reality, it's not good. Okay, in reality, it's not. But maybe this is the card you like. Okay, like you use it with the band guy, right? With the ETC guy, you just put Tony in your ETC, and if you're going against the slower deck and you need another win condition, this is your win condition. Bigger problem is we don't know the core set. Fair enough, but I mean, I'm just talking about like in general, right? In a vacuum, will this card see play? Does silence make the deck swap back? It should, yet, based on what Leo said. Or put the Jailer in the ETC. Yeah, it's fair too. Yeah, maybe this card's just better. Like this card's better than the Jailer majority of the time, right? Like if you're going against the combo deck, for instance, and you just need to delay their draw once, the really big, like I think the most underrated side of this is your opponent can't draw cards from their deck if they're going for a specific combo if this card's in play. That's a pretty big deal. How does Steam Cleaner interact with this? Steam Cleaner should probably be fine because you're not generating cards, you're just swapping the decks, which means that deck would be yours. There's no way. Yeah, like it should be, that would be the logic behind it, right? The deck would be yours, but it's not generating any cards into it. Interesting. Does ECTs count cards already in your deck? Can you run 2 copies of the same legendary? You can't run 2 copies of the same legendary, no. You can't. You can't. How does this work with Togwaggle? Why are you even asking that question? Togwaggle swaps the decks. Like, it's a battle card to swap the deck. So your opponent's deck is now your deck until they swap back. So you're just adding an extra layer, like deck swappingception, I guess. Put relics and Demon Hunter to draw your entire deck, discount this and win. You guys are coping out of your mind. Like, this is ridiculous. It's a cool card, man. Don't get me wrong. This is like the, you could cook with this card. You can also, I don't know if I showed you guys this, but this was Leo this entire expansion. I was showing him. This is Leo, this entire expansion. Hold on. This GIF. This is him, chat. The entire expansion. This is all he was doing. This is it. Jada destroys the deck, then you use this to swap. Again, we talked about it. Like, Leo is in the office just going ape shit with it. What about Drakari and Tranter and Tony? It's not an end of turn effect, right? So Leo said it works like Sorcerer's Apprentice. So if you guys have any questions, because we have a card that works just like it. So this card just says your spells cost 1 less. So if this card is silenced or removed, your spells no longer cost 1 less. It's the same thing with this card, which is like, imagine the finale's not here. Just say both player decks are swapped. If this card's removed, the decks are swapped back. If it's silenced, the decks are swapped back. It's the same thing as that. If you guys need context for what that is. Cool set, dude. Really cool set. All right, chat. I'm ending stream, guys. I'm exhausted. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I should be on tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna do the Tavern Brawl. I want to say Tavern Brawl, and I had another idea in mind, but we'll see. All right, chat. Thanks for chilling. I might post a video later today, but I might post it tomorrow too. I'm not really in the rush to post any videos. But yeah, hope you guys have fun. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for chilling. You guys look great today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, chat. Love you guys. Let's do the Spire anymore. We'll think about it. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow.